So the Russia-Ukraine war is in a critical phase as Moscow is ramping up the intensity of its attacks. The United States, interestingly, is mulling on supplying more long-range cruise missiles to Ukraine, a move that could dramatically shift the war's trajectory. Russia, in response, has issued a pretty stern warning, including the threat of a potential nuclear retaliation if Ukraine and its allies breach Russia's red lines. Take a look at this report.
Russia's recent missile strikes are becoming increasingly deadly. A double missile attack in Poltava killed over 50 people and injured 200. This was followed by another devastating strike in Lviv that claimed 7 lives. The relentless Russian bombardment is pushing back Ukrainian troops from its eastern borders.
The enemy's goal in the Kursk region was to make us nervous, fuss, move troops from one area to another and stop our offensive in key areas, above all in Donbass, the liberation of which is our primary goal.
The intensifying strikes not only signal Moscow's escalated aggression, but also highlight the strain on Ukraine's air defenses that are struggling to counter the barrage. The stakes are set to rise further, with reports that the US is close to delivering long-range cruise missiles to Ukraine. These joint air-to-surface standoff missiles could transform the strategic landscape by allowing Ukraine to strike deep into Russian territory, targeting critical air bases and supply depots up to 300 kilometers inside Russia. With stealth capabilities, these missiles could force Russia to retreat from staging areas, complicating its logistical operations. In response, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has issued a stern warning to the US to not cross Russia's red lines. Lavrov accused Washington of losing sight of the mutual deterrence that had maintained a precarious balance between two nuclear powers since the Cold War, thus calling the situation dangerous. Russia's nuclear doctrine, last updated by Vladimir Putin in 2020, allows for the use of nuclear weapons if the state's existence is under threat. Recently, Moscow ramped up its nuclear rhetoric to deter Western support for Ukraine. As the West increases its support for Ukraine, Russia has indicated it may revise its nuclear doctrine, potentially lowering the threshold for its use of nuclear weapons, making the situation even more volatile. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
And I earlier spoke with Mr. John Irath, who's a Senior Policy Director for the Center for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation in Washington, and this is what he had to say on this escalation.
I think it is part of a very consistent pattern that we have seen from Moscow for the last 2 years and more. When there is possibility of additional military assistance going to Ukraine, Russia always issues these sorts of threats to remind Western countries that additional assistance to Ukraine could raise the possibility of nuclear war and to deter actions of that sort. So this is one more in a long series of these kinds of threats that we have seen coming out of the Kremlin.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.